Hello and welcome to Hey Kate Play. This is your host, Kate, and today I will be playing Sims 4. I will be building number 12 Grimmauld Place, which you all may know as the Black Ancestral Home. So as you can see here, I've built one large building with 3 little nooks. These nooks are going to each have their own identical door. That will make it seem like there are 3 townhomes there. As you may know and remember from the books and the movies, the Black Ancestral Home, also known as number 12 Grimmauld Place, is disguised as a regular Muggle townhome. So I've created one large building with the appearance of 3 separate townhomes, and it will kind of have the idea of it being bigger on the inside due to magical forces rather than so while I do add 3 doors here, only one of them is going to be functional. So the middle door is the only door that's actually going to lead into the home. I'm doing that by adding a second door, so it's going to act as almost like a chamber lock. You go through the first front door, and then there will be the actual front door within, and this will allow me to make it appear natural from the outside but only give access to the one home on the inside. So you can see here that I did spend quite a bit of time playing with different windows, trying to figure out the perfect effect. My goal here is for the home to look traditional, but also be subtly unique, so it has a little bit of its own flair. So it's not going to quite perfectly match the architecture surrounding it, but it is going to blend in at the same time. So it took a bit of thought to decide on which windows would be the best to achieve this goal. So that's So you might be wondering why I decided to use so many different kinds of windows. Part of it is just how it fits into the building. So I have to have different sizes for different parts of the building depending on the width of the building and the length of the building. But beyond that, it also comes down to creating a very eccentric look while still blending in with the architecture, as I said earlier. So I feel like having windows that are unique and eccentric adds to the building without taking away too much and making it stand out too much. So if I had picked more modern windows, that would have stood out a lot from the architecture around it. But because I kept with the traditional theme of the architecture, I can play with windows and add a more wide variety. I did ultimately decide to go with these stained glass windows. I feel like the stained glass is very antique seeming, very classical, but also having that color and adds a little bit more depth to the building. And then in that middle layer, I added those very unique windows that have a lot of character, but still match the classic architecture surrounding it. I decided to go with the same paneling seen on the neighboring house. So that's going to be the white with the dark brown, with the only difference being that instead of just having the horizontal vertical stripes, I have this extra layer of lattice work, a little bit of extra detail, once again, just to add that unique subtle flair that differentiates this house, maybe makes it stand out just a little bit, just enough that the viewer can know that it's not exactly the same as the houses surrounding it. So here I'm moving on into adding the rooms inside. I made the building very spacious, and it will have lots of different areas, different rooms, so that I can apply different styles, different things that are found in the Black Manor in the books. And I also did focus on making sure that there was lots of hallways, because in the books, the Black ancestral home does tend to have a lot of hallways with a lot of pictures displayed. I downloaded some custom content so that we can have the Black family photos hung on the wall, which I will be decorating and adding later on in a different video. So now that I'm working on the inside of the building, I feel like I can do more obscure things, more kind of random things that would make a building stand out a lot. And I feel like the Blacks would have a home that has a lot of different architecture and a lot of different textures within it. So I use a lot of archways in this build, and then I also use brick for the stairs, and then there will be brick in all of the bathrooms as well. So I use these doors with the lion knockers for most of the rooms. I feel like it's a cool looking door, and it sticks very well with the theme of the dark wizarding world. The only exception is I did use a few spellcaster doors that came with the Magical World expansion, and you'll see that later in the build. So as you may have noticed, I chose very like old, antique seeming wallpaper and sconces. I feel like this really fits in with the black home because we all know that it was decorated by Sirius Black's grandmother, and she would have been very Victorian in her style. So I've carried that over into my build. I have a few different color schemes going on here, a lot of tans, a lot of dark browns to continue pulling in the dark browns from the outside of the house. But I also add some greens to represent their Slytherin heritage and how loyal they are to the Slytherin house. I decided to do wood floors, not quite throughout, but for most of the home, because in a lot of older homes you do see wood floors like this. Oftentimes when you go into an older home and you pull up maybe tile, you will find a dark wood floor underneath. So I carried that idea into this build, figuring that this is going to be a very traditional old home. And I used two different colors of wood for this, and the difference is going to be that it's separating the areas of the house. So the walkways are all going to have one kind of wood, and then the open rooms are going to have a different kind of wood. So the carpet I use in the bedrooms is the same kind of carpet for each one, and it is that really old, maybe found in your grandparents' home kind of carpet. And I'm going to put that in all of the bedrooms because most bedrooms normally do have carpet in them. And then for the bathrooms, I never use wood or carpet because I feel like it would be really hard to clean that. So I tend to use masonry or tile or linoleum. In this case, I used a mix of linoleum and masonry, which you will see shortly. So right now I'm renaming the lot. In this video, I'm renaming it to the Black Manor, but before my next recording, I am going to rename it again to number 12 Grimmauld Place. And then I did add in this video some lot traits. So originally I was thinking I was going to give it the cursed lot trait, but I did not do that, and here's why. I feel like when you have the cursed lot trait, your Sims are a lot more likely to die on that lot, and it makes the gameplay a lot more difficult for storytelling. So instead I went with haunted and gremlins, which will mean that there'll be ghosts wandering around, and there also will be things randomly breaking because of the gremlins. Another lot trait I did use is private dwelling. I figure this will kind of give the idea of muggles not being able to just wander into the home. There's kind of a spell on it to make it so it's not as easy to notice that there's a house there, which is pretty true to the books, I feel like. So now I'm going to zoom out and let you guys get the overall look, go through a couple floors, take a minute, let you guys look at all of that. And in my next video, or a few videos from now, I will be decorating this slot. I'll be adding plants and pathways to the outside, and then I'll add all the interior design work in that video. So it's going to be a lot like this one. It's going to be a sped up build with a voiceover, and hopefully you guys will like it. Well, thank you for watching, and if you like it, please do give me a thumbs up and a subscribe or a comment so that I know that I'm on the right path. If you guys have any issues with something I'm doing, let me know. If I'm talking too fast, if the audio is too loud, please do let me know, because I am relatively new to streaming and I really value your input. Well, thank you guys.